In the last 60 days, I was able to generate over $200,000, 100% organic with just one simple funnel. And so in today's video, I'm going to explain you exactly how we did it in the next phases. First, the problem. I want you to understand the problem and why you're not scaling and monetizing your audience. Then the solution plus the theory behind it so you can actually understand what you were doing wrong and how to fix it inside your business. Then the exact funnel we used to generate this result. And as last, the framework you can use and implement right after this video so you can start doing it yourself. But before we dive in, I want to give you a better understanding of what we actually did. As you can see here, these are 28 posts. You can count them yourself. The average data was an average of 3.3 views per video. You can stop the video and check for yourself. We had 2,200 followers at the moment of this recording right now. When we started, we just had 400 followers. And for this funnel, we actually used $0 in ad spend. And that resulted in 76,000 euros in cash collected and 160,000 euros in order value. Now, as you can see here, of course, if you can convert that to dollars, that's 200K in revenue. And now I want to dive into the problem you're probably facing right now. Because if you're stuck at this moment where you don't know how to monetize your audience, you don't know how to grow on Instagram or on social media, or basically do anything organically for your business, you're either in the following situation. You don't know what to post, or you don't know what content works for you, and you don't know how to stand out. And that results in that you just post edits about you working or random content that you just mostly steal formats from the biggest personal brands in the space, the brands that you look up to. But there's no reasoning and no real thought behind it because you just steal formats, but you don't know why they work for that brand. And if you just steal them and implement them yourself, they probably result in not working for you as well. Because the biggest misconception is that you need a big audience first and then I will be able to monetize that audience. But that's just not true, because the thing is, views don't actually equal leads. Not every view is a lead. And the thing is, focusing on content that attracts new eyeballs and makes you go viral is not how you build a lean personal brand. So the top of funnel videos, of course, they attract a lot of views, but as it says here, views are not leads. So pushing out that type of content will most definitely not attract the people you actually want to attract, because those people will never pay you a single dollar. What you want to do instead is focus on content that brings value to an already sold demographic of your niche spectrum and pull them through your content funnel. And we'll dive into that deeper and later into the video. And the next step is, of course, positioning. You've heard a lot about positioning, but you really don't understand it. So let me explain it to you in the simplest sense there is. There's broad positioning and there's niche positioning. And broad positioning is basically trying to appeal to a massive audience and attracting a lot of views and attention. That's basically the getting a lot of views, so the top of funnel content. Pushing out top of funnel content gets you views, and once you understand how that works, you will just be focused on creating top of funnel content, but that's not actually equaling money. You get a lot of views, you do the broad positioning, but you don't know how to actually convert these eyeballs. And that's basically the biggest misconception I see is people just think they need to do broad positioning because it works, right? You post a couple edits, get some views, but no one reaches out. And the thing is that if you're doing this tactic, if you're using broad positioning, you're just basically throwing as much shit to the wall and seeing what sticks. And that's never the right business model and the right strategy to work on, especially with organic content. Instead, there's the other positioning. This is niche positioning. You want to position yourself as an authority over a very specific problem and getting known for fixing that problem. And niche positioning actually does two things for your brand. Number one is that you get known for fixing a specific problem. So when people experience that problem and see your content, their need to reach out to you is extremely high because they feel understood. And the second is that you actually stand out. Because if you niche down, especially, for instance, in a bigger market like personal training, real estate, or e-com coaching, for instance, when you niche down in that industry, you stand out because it's something they never heard before. Now, of course, there's a lot of people in the real estate, personal training, or e-com coaching industry. And if you just yap the same value and yap the same information over and over again, people will group you and see you as one person, as one group. So you fade away into the algorithm and you fade away with your competitors. So your leverage actually lies in trying to stand out. As you can see here, when people stand out and see something they've never seen or heard before, or they actually feel understood because you try to reach them in a very unique way by leveraging your unique methods, you actually stand out from your competitors. And that's why a majority of the industry is fading away and there are only a few brands that actually stand out. And that's because your brain handles exposure in a very unique way. It handles connections in a very unique way. For instance, all the cars you see in a day, if you were to remember all of them, it's probably impossible. But you can probably remember one or two very unique cars that you don't see a lot. Supercars or very unique colors, a very cool spec. That's something that stands out to you because it's something your brain hasn't got the same exposure to. And that's with content as well. So get something, a pattern interrupt or something unique that people's brain haven't seen that often, especially in the environment of scrolling and the algorithm. Find something unique that people don't see that often, and that's how you create new exposure, and exposure creates something unique. So now you understand the problem, and I want to dive deeper into the theory and the solution behind it. So now, number one is that your audience, as we said before, your audience exists on a spectrum, and that spectrum has three subcategories. First, the not sold people. This is the group of people that see and view your content and immediately associate with things they don't like. For instance, if I were to see a dress online, I will never buy a dress for myself, maybe for my girlfriend or something, but never for myself. And so I'm not sold on that specific product. And so you just want to ignore this whole demographic, basically the subcategory. Then the biggest part of your audience is basically the swing voters. They might convert, but they're just on the fence, right? Basically in the awareness stages, they're very high up, probably here somewhere. They see something, they might like it, they might like the lifestyle, or they find it interesting, but they're on the fence. They need more information and they need more nurture. And that's okay, but that takes a long time. That's a long sales cycle. The third category is the category that's most interesting to us, especially in small brands. It's the already sold demographic. These are people that view your content actively. They know the product, they know the industry, they trust the industry, they know it works. They just need to find the right person to get help with, or the right product, for instance. And when you go to the awareness stage down below, basically the bottom three subcategories, and that's your focus. Now, how does this actually work in practice? Let me give you an example. For instance, for personal trainers, and this is very valuable to you. A personal trainer trying to appeal to this subcategory could say something like, you're already in the gym, you take supplements, you know it works, but you don't get the right results. You're not lean yet, you don't have the six-pack yet, or you want to get leaner or bigger or whatever. And that's why we created XYZ product. Now, do you see how this actually works? Because we focus purely on people that already know the product, they know the gym works for them, they are very invested in making it work. They got supplements, they got a gym membership, they might got their straps or gym clothes or whatever, pre-workout, whatever, but they just don't get the result that they want. So they're very low on the awareness stage. They know this works, they're solution aware, product aware, and most aware, but they just don't know how to actually succeed and get the result they want. That's why we get so fast results, because we focus on purely that subcategory, where other people just focus on this whole part, the wrong way to market, because there are already people in this subcategory that are willing to pay to get from the last step, for instance, step 8 to the finish line, and you can sweep them up and help them to actually get the results they want. Now, how does this actually work with content? So on the algorithm, what you need to understand is how the algorithm actually works. It gives you content by anticipating what you would like to see based on the action you take on the platform. So when you push out content, it splits your video up into metadata. It reads that metadata and pushes your video to the right audience. So what it does, it tracks the watch time of your video, the shares of your video, the frequency of how many times people watch the video, likes and comments. And the beauty is that the algorithm does not care about the creators or the following that you have, just about the content itself. It's easier when you have a bigger following, but it does not matter, because I could just post one video on a brand new account. And if that video is actually good, it will reach the right amount of people. So do you actually understand how big this opportunity is? You don't need a big audience. You don't need a massive following. You don't need to build 100,000 followers before you can monetize. With this current algorithm, your very first viewer could become your very first buyer. And that's exactly how we implement our strategies and our method to generate these massive results organically. And that's basically how the algorithm works in a breakdown, and how to leverage the algorithm as a content creator from day one. And when you do that, it results in a very short sales cycle. And I'm going to explain exactly how to do that. What we saw after implementing it into multiple personal brands and generating massive amounts of results for those brands is that basically you need three content pillars. First is authority, second is likability, and the third is trust. And when you touched all three of those emotions, they're more than ready to actually buy from you. And the first being authority. Why should people listen to your value? You show your own results, show proof that you know how this works, and most importantly, put yourself above your viewers on this certain topic. If I were to put myself next to you in this topic and be very humble about what I know, you won't buy from me because you don't have the feeling that you can actually grow when using my help, because I put myself next to you. But I want to put myself above you because I want to actually show you that I have the knowledge to help you. That only happens when I put myself above you in this certain topic. For instance, when I grow brands for personal trainers or realtors or real estate agents, the thing is that they know very well about their custom experience, so real estate or personal training or getting fit or whatever. But when it comes to content, and even though it's creating content for that specific niche, I know more about creating content for that specific niche than they do, even though they have more experience and more valuable knowledge of that brand. So there needs to be a balance between what you know about content and what you know about your niche and your industry, right? And when I put myself above you in creating content, even though it's for your niche, there are certain type of strategies and frameworks you can use for any niche. And if you implement them for your real estate business, you will grow. So how come when I don't even know anything about real estate, I know how to grow a real estate brand? And that's because I know a lot about content and marketing and framework and how to implement the right strategies for any brand and any niche. And that's how I put myself above you in this certain topic, in content. Now, the second one is likability. Getting someone to like you is more important than you think. And a lot of people misunderstand it. So you want to actually show personality, because people buy from people and will never buy from someone they don't like. I see this problem a lot, and we're going deeper into this in the framework I have at the end of this video. And the thing is that you want to show personality. I see a lot of content creators where I speak to them on the call, and they're very charismatic, very unique personality. But as soon as they pick up the camera, all of that is gone. They turn robotic and they read the script, and it's just them reading line for line, and that's not working, because value itself is not as important anymore as you think. Now with AI and ChatGPT and Claude, all the value and all the knowledge and information is already out there. The things that are important are authority, likability, and trust. The thing is, if I can trust you and actually like you, I don't care what product you actually sell. If you were to switch from a realtor to a personal trainer and you have credibility and I trust you and I like you, I'm willing to buy that. So it doesn't matter what you actually sell and what value you give, as long as you generate and create these three emotions in your content, and as soon as people hit these emotions, they will buy from you, no matter the product, no matter the value. So trying to save face and be liked by everyone almost always results in being liked by no one. So you need to show your true colors, and the right people will find you. And the wrong people who don't relate to your content will leave, and that's okay, because they will never buy anyway. That's basically what I said here. That's the not sold demographic. So why are you trying to appeal to them when they were never going to buy in the first place? Mainly focus on this part and the swing voters. So actually show your true colors and show what makes you unique, and the right people will relate to that. And those are the nicest people to work with, the people that actually support you, and people who actually buy from you. And that's the most important. And lastly, you need to create trust within your content. Show them you can deliver. Show client results, case studies, testimonials, and the unique mechanism. And the thing is that this is a chain, right? Because if one falls out, then the whole chain is broken, because they need all three emotions in order to buy from you. They won't buy from you if they miss either of those emotions. And when you put this in a visual representation, you get the following. When you have only authority and the mechanism, because when it's B2B, it's mechanism and not personality, you actually result in the following. They know you're a serious player and you stand out with a unique approach, but they still doubt if this will work for their business or their niche. So you get a lot of questions, but does this work for my niche? Does this work for my situation? I'm this and this and this. Does this work for me? And that's because you're missing the trust within your content. So they don't fully trust you because they don't see that you've actually done this for multiple people that actually look like them. When you have authority and trust but miss the mechanism, they see that you have the lifestyle and have the proof, but without the unique mechanism, you're just another company. So you don't stand out, you just fade away. They see a lot of personal trainers, but what makes them actually choose you instead of something else? That's your unique mechanism or your personality, so the likability that you show. The third, when you only have trust and the mechanism, you miss the authority. So they know you can fulfill and are intrigued by your method, but they don't have real respect for you. They don't see your hero story. They don't see that you actually have authority over the space and live the life that you're selling. So you don't actually have respect. When all of that comes together, so you have authority, mechanism, or likability for B2C, and trust, it results in they respect your work, they believe your method, and they know you can fulfill. And that's basically the brand pillars. And instead of paid marketing with organic marketing, and that's why I like organic content, is the fact that it compounds. So the videos you put out today and post today still can result in leads and clients 2 years from now. In contrast to paid marketing, when you turn off your ads, they don't get shown, no leads come in, no calls, no type forms, because you have to pay every single day in order to get people into the door. And with organic content, that's not necessary. The more you post, the more it compounds, the more you build your online presence, you build your personal brand. And when you hit these 3 emotions, you don't need the 7 touch points. You just need to hit these 3 emotions within your content, and then people are ready to convert and buy from you because they see your help, they know you can fulfill, and they like you or trust your method. And now we move on to the exact funnel we use to generate this result. And first off, I want to say that before you ever press the recording button, you need to have a lot of pre-production work. And that's basically where 99% of people already make the biggest mistake, because they just press the record button, talk about their features of their business and their offer and expect people to buy. But that's not how that works. You need to deeply understand the actual audience that you have, the positioning you are going to take within this industry, and the offer/mechanism that you are going to produce content for. Once you understand exactly what these 3 types of categories are for your business and for your specific situation, you can start leveraging content. And that starts by optimizing your profile. So when we take a closer look on my profile, you can see from the get-go a few things. First, I have a very clear username. I don't have a lot of weird numbers and syllables within my username because I want to be found easily. I don't want to confuse my viewer with a lot of weird syllables and numbers, and I want my message to be very clear and easily found. Then for my profile picture, you can see that I implement authority. It's sea view access with a private swimming pool all by myself, whatever. It just shows that I live a certain lifestyle worth noticing. Then for my bio, I actually tell you that I'm a founder of the company. I founded Grow Lean Consulting, and that's again authority because I am a business owner. Then my message here is very clear. I help you monetize your small audience, and that's a clear message because when people view your bio and your profile, they make a decision within 3 seconds, right? When I show you that I help monetize your small audience, people who have either a small audience or struggle monetizing that small audience will see this message and immediately think, wow, this is worth noticing because I actually experienced the problem that I have a clear message for. Again, I implement authority by showing you that my method generated $3 million plus for my clients in the last 8 months and counting. Then I want to feed you with more stuff you can nurture on. So I have a start here highlight where I explain my method, my learnings, and my experience so you can nurture and learn more from me without ever having to reach out. And then of course I have my rules and my content we're going to get in right now. So once you optimize your profile for nurture and conversion and authority, you want to push out your first content pieces. And as I said here, you have 4 different types. You have reach, which is the edits, value, educational, and credibility. So basically what we did is, this is the stupid edits that I was talking about. Of course, you can use them to reach new eyeballs, but I would strongly recommend not using them, especially when you have a small brand, because it will not work in your favor. Instead, you want to focus on value, educational, and credibility content in order to get the right emotions to your viewers, which we discussed here earlier. So what we did for this specific case study is we drove engagement on TikTok, because TikTok right now is the most engaging platform there is. It's very easy to get people to comment and like on your content, because especially on TikTok, people do not care about your following, they just care about the content itself. So what you want to do is get your first 30 posts live and understand the basics of creating content. Understand the hook, how you need to structure yourself, how you need to position yourself. And when you have your 30 posts live, you will see that the first post and the 30th post are completely different. They're a world apart, right? Because along the way you got comfortable with having a camera or a phone in your hand and actually recording, speaking to a phone or a camera, right? And then structuring your videos, how you want to speak, what value you want to produce, etc., etc. And once you have those live, run them back and analyze the data and analyze every single content piece. And now you can implement more personality and get more creative. So you understand the basics, you know how to speak to a camera, how to structure your videos, what you need to talk about, and then you want to get creative. So you want to build on the foundation your 30 posts actually did for you. So now you can watch other personal brands and actually steal from them like an artist, instead of just a stupid content creator who doesn't even know how to create content himself. So you want to take ideation from big personal brands, rephrase them in your own personality and your own content form. And that will generate your first $10,000 generated through your social media, 100% guaranteed. So now you understand the basics and you know how to implement personality and get creative. So you just focus on value, educational, credibility content in order to get the right emotions and the right people in. And the beauty is that they don't care about your skills. They just want to know if you can actually help them. So show them how you can fix their issue. That's basically the most important thing. If they have a problem and you can fix them and you can show that you can help them, they will actually want to buy. And that's how you create your first 10K through content, 100% guaranteed. And last but not least is the actual framework you can start using after watching this video to get started yourself. And what we actually discuss is the 3 content types and basically a short content calendar you can follow, and how to structure your videos in order to get the right videos out there from the get-go. So from the very first post, you really deeply understand what content is, how you need to structure content, and how you actually create your first videos in order to get people to actually watch them and convert into buyers. Now, if you want this framework, you can comment down below or DM me on Instagram, framework, and I'll send it to you completely for free. So that's basically all I wanted to discuss today. And if you found this video valuable, make sure to follow, because there's a lot more coming. Make sure you like, and I'll see you in the next video. Comment down below if you want this framework, and I'll see you. Ciao.